I'm Jordan Belfort, and this is Sales School. Pace, lead, pacing and leading. This is the strategy by which you essentially enter someone's world where they are, tonally, right? And then you pace them, and you lead them in the direction you want them to go. In other words, let's say I run my first loop, and I say, well, I hear what you're saying, Bill. But let me ask you a question. Does the idea make sense to you? Do you like the idea, right? And he says, yeah, it sounds pretty good. So what do I do there? He says, yeah, it sounds pretty good. Where does that level of certainty land him? Where's that tonality land him on the certainty scale? He goes, yeah, it sounds pretty good. That's like about a 6. It's not like yeah, it sounds really great. That's an 8, right? He says, yeah, it sounds pretty good. She's at about a 6. So what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't respond by saying, exactly, it really is an amazing idea. If you do that, you break rapport, right? He said, wait a second, you're not listening to me. And I wasn't that enthusiastic. He knows the tonality he gave you. He was telegraphing to you, or she was telegraphing to you that, hey, that's my level of certainty. So he said, yeah, it sounds pretty good. So I would never say, exactly, Bill, it really is amazing. He's like, oh my God, here we go. Another, freaking hard pressure salesperson. So what I do instead is I say, exactly. It really is a great idea. Notice I enter the same place tonally. And then I will pace him, meaning I will talk with the same tonality. And then I will talk with the same tonality again. And then after I pace him, I'll lead him tonally in the direction I want to go. In other words, I say, exactly, it really is a great idea. In fact, let me say this. The true beauty is it also has this feature, and that feature. In other words, I'm in the same tonality. I say, and it also has this feature, and that feature. But however, now watch. Now, when you take those two things together, and all of a sudden now, I start to increase my tone, my certainty. I actually start to ratchet up my level of certainty in my tonality, and I slowly increase it, and I start approaching peak tonality about halfway through. Guys, I can't tell you how powerful this is. Listen, it's almost hard for me to do artificially here. So in other words, what happens is when someone says, yeah, it sounds pretty good, I say, exactly. It really is a great idea. In fact, let me say this. The true beauty is it also has this feature, and that feature. So I stay at that same level of certainty. I say, and then it also has this feature, and that feature. And again, I stay at the same level of certainty. But then I slowly start ratcheting up my level of certainty, but then it also has this feature, and that feature. And when you combine those 4 things together, Bill, it gives you this, and that, and I start getting really excited. And when I end my presentation here, I'm like, you see what I'm saying, Bill? Does the idea make sense to you? And now he's like, oh my God, yeah. Now he'll match my level of certainty in his tone. Guys, this is fucking magic. It's almost like a magic trick. That's how well it works. I'm dead serious. In other words, so what you're doing here is you're entering the prospect's world where they are. So they say, yeah, it sounds pretty good. You say, exactly, it really is a great idea. But you want to move them to a much higher level of emotional certainty as well as logical certainty. So what you're going to do now is your secondary language pattern is designed to move them higher on the level of logical certainty. And we use pace, the tonal shifts, to move them to a high level of emotional certainty. In other words, if you give your whole amazing linguistic pitch, all the words are great, but you don't use pace, lead, when you're done, you'll be saying, you see what I'm saying, Bill? Does the idea make sense to you? He'll say, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. He still hasn't been moved emotionally, and his tone of voice will still be at that lower level. So in order to move someone in one swift swoop, both logically and emotionally, we apply this strategy of pace, lead. So you say, watch. I say, I hear what you're saying, Bill. Does the idea make sense to you? Do you like the idea, right? That's my first loop. He says, yeah, it sounds pretty good. And I say, exactly. It really is a great idea. In fact, let me say this. The true beauty is it also has, and so I'm right where he was. But remember, I want him, when I'm done with this presentation and I say, you see what I'm saying, Bill? I want to say, oh my God, yeah, Jordan, I love you. I need to move him emotionally. I do that with my tonality, but I can't do it all at once. If I just come in like gangbusters, say, hey, Bill, exactly, it really isn't. He'll be, whoa, whoa. I break rapport. So I stop myself from breaking rapport with the prospect by using this pace, lead. I enter the prospect's world tonally, where they currently are, say, okay, I got it, I'm on the same, here's what I'm saying to the guy, subconsciously. Yeah, I got it, I'm on the same page with you. In fact, let me say this. It also has, but it also has here's more information. And then I introduce slowly but surely this intense certainty into my tone. That's the ticket. And by doing that, what happens is, with Bill not even knowing it, especially, now this works, remember, your words also have to be awesome. And you've done that because you've spent the time, you've worked on your pattern, right? You spent the time to work on your language pattern, your secondary pattern, and that pattern is designed to pick up right where your initial presentation left off, and you're creating this scream from the hilltops, airtight, logical case, as I say, right? Your tonality is infused on top of that pace, lead, so that when you're done with that pattern, you say, you see what I'm saying, Bill? Does what I get make sense? He'll be like, oh my God, yeah. And now he'll match you. See, because you entered his world where he was, right? And then you paced him, and you led him in the direction you wanted him to go tonally, he will now match you. So you start off matching him, and then you pace, and boom, lead him in the direction you want him to go, and bam, it's truly magical. Focus on doing that today. Remember, when you run your loops today, don't forget the pace, lead. You want to move them logically and emotionally in one shot. So the words move the prospect logically, pace, moves them emotionally, all right? And together, it's a really, really powerful 1-2 punch, all right?